still not subscribed to the partition, you know, it's a lot of ways that you can do this besides watching all the content. But before we start, always remember, go to the channels link. Every show that we have, you can always see every show before everybody else see the show. But besides that, always remember, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, put it on all. Until then, always remember, anything is possible. Thank you for choosing the partition. Now let's get into the show. Anything is possible. Peace.
Stand up, they looking at me like, I know you're not waiting. Did I say it right? Yes, you did. Yeah, I know my Sir Charles. So not every 5 or 10 minutes,
My son got me this with my dad, so I can always have him with me whenever I do the show.
Take 2.
Hold on, wait. I don't want to laugh. Welcome back to Choppin It Up with Lil Ron. Today in the studio we have a very, very special guest. This guest is another award-winning friend of mine. I met her. She's an author. She's a rapper. The ultimate entrepreneur that a person can ever meet. And she's a legend. I want you guys to welcome the one and only Miss Toni Hickman. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did. You
Yes.
did it right.
Man, you know, I was so happy to. First off, congratulations on your award.
Same to you.
Yes, thank you, and your show is wonderful. I watch you so many episodes in the car riding and talking. And man, I love the conversation that you actually have, and I was so honored to have you on my show. I would like for you to introduce yourself to my fans that may not know you. Your fans know who you are, obviously. Give them an introduction of who you are, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, my name is Toni Hickman, and like you said, I'm a hip hop artist. I'm a certified naturopath. I'm a author. I'm a spiritualist, an activist, a survivor of 2 brain aneurysms and a stroke, and I'm still writing my titles.
You know, I like them. You said a survivor. It reminds me when I brought the young lady Sophia here onto the show. She was a cancer survivor.
Okay.
And in fact, she's actually going to be featured in the next issue of the Wildlife magazine because I'm going to actually support the whole breast cancer movement
I love
and any
that.
type of cancers. Because October is about to be among us, so that's the breast cancer month. So I wanted to make sure that I wanted to actually support her in that
And
issue.
highlight her story.
Yes. And I'm working on trying to get with some other cancer people because I kind of want the issue to be 50% straight cancer people. I want them, the survivors, even the ones that lost their loved ones, I want their loved ones to be remembered. They don't have to be a celebrity to be remembered.
Absolutely.
So I admire that. First thing I want to talk to you about, because see, I'm an 80s baby, so I come up in the era with 8-Ball MJG and Nola and the list goes on, Mr. Mike and Tila, so many of them. So how was it? What made you want to become a rapper? That's the first thing I want to know.
I actually started in church. I started singing in church because I always used to sing. And then on top of that, I would write poetry. And I ended up, my best friend, her cousin, wrote a rap and wanted us to enter the talent show in our middle school. And we entered the talent show, and he had wrote the rap. The rap was called Now Laters. But we won first place. And first of all, I realized, dang, I love stage, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I could write my own raps. Like, I don't need him. I write poetry. All I got to do is turn my poetry into raps, and that's
right.
it. And so that's how I started.
You know, a lot of people, they don't know. I mean, a lot of poetry people. I interviewed maybe 2, maybe 3 poetry writers. And I always look at them and I be saying like, man, do they realize they are actually rappers? Some people don't even know Tupac was a poet.
Yes, indeed.
And they don't actually really know, because poetry, you get a chance to express some of the things and how you feel. And a lot of people don't know, like inside of some of my studios, and actually I put it in my book too as well. A lot of my pictures have words, have meanings to them. If a person come to the studio and they come and they look at some of the things I write, it's true. I tell them, hey, look, this is what this is. This is how I feel. I always break down things that I go through, and I put a picture with it, because sometimes a picture can speak 1,000 words.
1,000 words, literally.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, when you decided to actually started rapping, what made you wanted to go mainstream? Like, I want the world to start hearing my talent.
I don't know. I didn't even think about it. Like, I knew I was good, right? And so in New Orleans, I was signed to another record label called Full Pack.
Okay.
And so we were like local celebrities, right? Mm-hmm. And but then that label started going down after one of our label mates went to jail for heroin. And so I was just like, I ended up meeting another young lady in New Orleans, and she was in a group called Females in Charge. And same thing. She was just like, I'm sick of New Orleans, music scene. Let's go somewhere else. And we went to New York I told her I was going to New York. And she was like, well, I want to go, and we just met, but yeah. And that's how it started, and went to New York, and the goal was to get a deal.
Wow. And you got the deal that you wanted.
Eventually.
Yeah, it's, a lot of people think it's easy. People think it's easy to get into the music industry. I tell the new generation, y'all have it easy. Y'all have a spoon already in y'all mouth.
Yes.
I said we had it hard. We had to
do
the demos.
Yep.
And then I say, y'all have easy, because we had a tape. You had to do the tape. And then you have to take the tape. You got to press up all your tapes. CDs came a little later, but you had to take that tape. You had to get that tape, and you had to play it. And I remember sometimes people bring you their tape, you put it in the car, and before you know it, the tape get unraveled in the person's car, and they got to go and got to get a pen, they got to roll it back up, and you got to hope that it didn't get crumbled, and especially if that's your last tape that you actually have.
Exactly.
You like, wow. And then you have to worry about people saying, send us your tape, we'll listen to it. These people got thousands of tapes. You got to hope and pray that they're going to take your tape and listen to your tape.
I'm telling you, I used to get creative. I would draw, we would send the big manila folders, and I would draw all over the manila folders so I get their attention. I draw all kind of faces and everything. And I actually got their attention simply because I drew. Now, Queen Latifah's mother wrote back and said she wanted further information once I get a professional demo done. Mm-hmm. But even though they didn't say, okay, you're signed or we like what you have, they still wrote back simply
took the time.
Because I took the time to make sure everything had color all over it and like
creativity.
Yeah.
A lot of people, people think, I tell them all the time, a lot of people ask me, when I watch your show, why do you put your show in black and white? I said, because everybody's podcast that's out there that they have, they talk shows, all of them are in color. I want to stand out. I want to be different because I researched it.
That's why you always wear black?
That's why I always wear black. Steve Jobs from Apple, I admire him. I tell a lot of people, I'm not a real big fan of suits and ties and all that. Steve Jobs always was plain. He was simple. Blue jean pants, black jeans, white T-shirt, black T-shirt, white turtleneck, black turtleneck. Simple. Mingle, blend right on in with the people. They look like, oh man, this guy, he's just plain. He's a plain, simple guy. I like black and white because it shows the true depth of a person. Whether you're black, white, blue, green, it doesn't matter. You don't see any flaws in black and white. Back in my days, I remember the era when we did have black and white TVs before we converted to color. You had to imagine what something looked like. You didn't know what it looked like until you actually saw it in person.
You're right.
We have lost sight of that. Everything we see is in color, so we get all the beauty of it. But we don't see the struggles that the people had to see before they got there. So I decided to go black. Let me go black and white.
let me give them that image so they can actually see because they pay more attention or detail.
That's interesting.
That's one reason why I decided to go black and white because it was actually good. So when somebody see the show, like, oh man, it's black and white, man, this look pretty good, pretty good, sound good. Hey, man, that's cool. Now, what made you what's some of the major artists that you actually work with?
Well, on Swab House, of course, everybody. I've worked with P.D. Pablo, Jagged Edge.
Did you work with Gilly the Kid? I hate to ask you that question.
Yeah, well, Gilly was on the Armed Robbery remix.
I know that. I remember that. I told somebody that about 2 or 3 years ago. And they was like, oh, robbery? No, he didn't. I said, yes, he was. Go back to the album that people love with 8 Ball and MJG. Yep. It's the one with, In Our Lifetime, if I'm not mistaken. It's the one with the song with Don't Flex. It should be on that album. Mm-hmm. I said, man, it was on there, man. He is on it. They went back and redid that song. He is on that album.
Yeah, it was me, him, Duke, and I think Rex was on there too. Yeah.
Yes, and it was a remake of the original.
Right.
It was good, and people overlook certain stuff. They go back and they listen to it. They're gonna be like, "Oh wow, man, this is really good." I love Swab House because first off, 8 Ball and MJG. I was listening to on Top of the World the other day. Man, I can go from friend and foe, and I can go all the way in the line of duty. Man, I can go through that whole thing all the way to Space Age Pimpin', and I'm telling you, that is one, to me personally, I like Coming Out Hard. I love Mr. Big. Man, on Top of the World, man, that thing is actually good. I mean, outside Looking In was actually good. I like Lay It Down. Man, when they did On Top of the World, that classic cover with the pool table.
Oh, yeah.
With that is one of the finest albums that in my 8 Ball collection that I listen to. That one, 8 Ball MJG. I like MJG, No Glory. I like that one right there. That one is good. I love the 8 Ball Lost. Those two guys right there. I really wish when they did the verses, it should have been in Houston. It should have been Houston.
That's what a lot of people said, simply because, like, both UGK and Ball and G, like, this was their homes regardless of wherever. They should have been in Houston, but
you know, they did it, I think Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. Mm-hmm. But you got to remember.
And then it was, on top of that, them doing it in Atlanta, the crowd was different. So they didn't, some of them wasn't even familiar.
And you know, you got to think about, it's like them putting Gucci Man and you bring in Jeezy to Houston. You got people that know who Gucci Man is, you know who Jeezy is. They should have been in their hometown. I guarantee you, if they would have did that versus and they would have put that in Houston, I guarantee you, they couldn't even keep that crowd down. Because you got the people out there where they from, then you have the people where we are from, then you got people that were Swab. Because Swab House was actually, when you knew back in the days, you knew 2 labels in Houston. You knew Swab House, Tony Draper's, and then you knew Rap-A-Lot, Jay Prince.
Yeah.
And I loved that it was 2. It wasn't no competition, it was love, man. Because Rap-A-Lot did stuff, they did stuff, man. They all show love to each other back and forward. Like that, now it's only Rap-A-Lot, unfortunately. But people don't understand, man. That was music back in the days, man. We actually had the type of music.
I mean, yeah. And artists at that time, artists really did talk about stuff. We had subjects beyond just like freestyle, mindless music. And this is what I think the industry pushes it. It's plenty artists that are even new now that are really dope, but you will never hear them mainstream because of their subject matter. Like, unfortunately, mainstream likes to promote dumbing down the culture.
You're right. You're definitely right. In fact, speaking of culture, how was it actually working with? Did you ever work with Rick Ross?
No.
A lot of people ask me this question. Somebody asked me this a while ago. Did you know that Rick Ross has connections in connection with Swab House? a lot of people don't know, correct me if I'm right or wrong, Rick Ross was actually signed to Swab House.
For a while, but it was
For a short
like
period
a
of
short
time.
period of
Short
time.
period of time. I see a lot of people, they don't know that. I told somebody else, I said, Rick Ross used to be a Swab House artist. And Rick Ross was, I say, yes, he was. It wasn't a long, I think it was close to the end. Close to the end when Swab House was actually getting ready to actually let go and close down. But he was, and a lot of people, they don't know that because that little period of time, Rick Ross learned a lot of things. I hear good stories about T Draper. People always tell me good stuff about him. I never met the man. If I got a chance to meet anybody out of Swab House, a person that I would love to meet will be 8Ball and MJG. I'm not lying. Them two dudes, man, I was listening to, the song when the Swab House connected with the No Limit, and they did that song together.
Oh yeah, I have
man, pure uncut. Oh man, I love that song, man. When they came together and they did
had
that
psychodrama on that thing, and
yeah. That song was like actually, man, that was a real good. That's when music was good, man. Now labels don't come together and make music. It's all about money, man. You got to give me $250,000 for this and that, man. Artists,
that's the world we live in, though. It's reduced to that. So even dealing with humans, you're gonna deal with that. Like everybody, we've forgotten principles and help.
I asked a dude the other day. He showed me a CD cover. I said, "Man, have you heard of Pen and Pixel?" He said, "Who is that?" I said, "Pen and Pixel used to make." Master P was probably one of the first ones to ice out his cover. We all know that he's the one that took that cover to a whole nother level. I said, Pen and Pixel used to make all the CD, all the artist covers, man. You want your stuff done? You go to Pen and Pixel. They finna hook you up. Big Bear, man, it was.
But now everybody doing that look now. I mean, people have gotten really good at graphics. So,
yeah, that stuff actually changed. Now, after the music, what made you actually go into being an author, writing a book? And how many books have you written so far?
That's my second. That's my second one, but I'm working on my third now. I don't know when that one's coming out. But
what made you actually want it to be a book writer and an author?
Well, I've always been a writer. Like I said, I used to write poetry and philosophy. Mm-hmm. Like I've always been a person who thought deeply, and so the writing was just an extension of that. But what promoted my first book was after I had my second brain aneurysm and first stroke, and they told me to stop putting perms and stuff in my head. And so when I researched why, I found out about lotions, deodorant, toothpaste, all of these things that melanin dominant, African, Black, whatever you want to call us, what we use. And I was like, well, we need to know about this information. Now, my book, even though they talk about this now on mainstream, my book has been out. Chemical Suicide is the name of it. It's been out since 2009, but it was my first book because I was just like, okay, well, I need to let other people know this information. Like, we didn't know. We're constantly putting perms in our head, and it's to fit a concept of what we think is beautiful. Mm-hmm. But the reality is it's slowly going into our bloodstream, and it's causing havoc in our body.
It's crazy because I met a lady. She started my first episode off. She developed a cure for eczema. And she's real big on everything natural. Yeah. Everything. She be like, no, what are you using? Don't put that on your body. You need natural, organic. It has to be natural. I'm like, she said, I'm telling you, she developed soap. She just did deodorant. Yeah. She have actual special type of grease for girls' scalp. I mean, she got so much stuff that she's woman, but she believe in organic. Like, no, don't buy that stuff. It's not good.
I mean, there are statistics. She's not lying. There really are statistics that show. And, so many women use these scented fragrances from Victoria's Secret or Bath and Body Works or whatever. And it smells wonderful, but there are so many chemicals in there that are carcinogens. They're contributing to causing cancer in the body. And so if you're constantly putting this on your skin and the skin absorbs 60% of everything you put on it into your bloodstream, then by cause and effect, you are automatically promoting damage to your body.
Wow, man, you're definitely right. You're definitely right about that, man. Because at the end of the day, we wonder why a lot of our people, especially in African American community, getting a lot of cancers, man. Because colon cancer ain't nothing to play with.
But it ain't even just see, we being attacked from all angles.
Food.
This is what I'm telling you. Like, yeah, the food, the diet, and then the addiction to the food. You know, we are addicted to food. If you try and fast for 3 days, look how much you want to eat. Pay attention how you don't even be hungry half the time, but you want to eat because of your emotions. And to see, we have celebrated so much around Thanksgiving and holidays. And so we look at these things as giving us joy and excitement. So when we have depression or sadness in our life, our automatic reflex is, oh, I need to eat because it's going to be my comfort. And it's also our destruction depending on what we're eating.
It's like a gift and it's a curse.
Yeah.
Okay, now we come to the segment. It's called Leon's Top 5. Leon was a cousin of mine that actually got killed in an 18-wheeler last year. And I always dedicate this segment to him every time I do my shows because he was a big fan. What would be your top 5 artists that you listen to? It can be rap, R&B, gospel, reggae, jazz, country, whatever. Who's the top 5 that you listen to? She said, you got me on that one.
Man, it's so top 5. I have a lot of favorite artists, but I'm going to say top 2, because they got me through some hard times in New York, is Tupac and Mary J. Blige.
You know, I never heard those combinations. Mary J. Blige is a wonderful. I really wish her and Tupac would have did a song together, man. I just really would have.
Oh my
That would have been
God.
magic if they would have done. They got a lot of pictures together, but they never done the song together.
Right.
Mary J. Blige. I was just listening to My Life.
That's the song. I'm
Man,
telling you,
I
I
swear.
was homeless in New York, and I would have her playing in my cassette tape and have her in my ears, and I'm just like, man, you look into my life, you know what I'm saying?
I tell people that every time when I'm like by myself and I feel like I'm going through something, I put that on.
That song.
If people listen to what she says, just if you just can listen, and I always say that sometimes people see my lifestyle and be like, man, he got it easy, got this. I'm saying like, man, if they can just they can just one day look through my eyes and see everything that I have to go through and see all the pains and struggle. You know, I actually suffer from TMJ. A lot of people don't know that.
And what is that?
TMJ is where my jaw always dislocates from my skull. So my jaw always pops out of place. So like 95% of the time when people see me, I am actually in pain. They'll never know that. But I still get up every day. I smile. I walk around like nothing never happens to me. But I go through serious pain. We talked about countless surgeries. It ain't going to work. Shock treatments. So I just learned just to live with it. And I just say, hey, man, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. Hey, I just have to just do what I like and enjoy what I actually do. But Mary J. Blige I feel like she should be treated and should be put on a higher pedestal than she is. Even though they do, but they should give her more flowers than what she actually had. A lot of people don't know KC used to talk from Jodeci.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people, they don't know that.
Really?
I
thought a lot of people knew that.
I told one dude the other day, I say, you know, Case touched me, please me. He said, yeah. I said, he talked to Mary J. Blige. He said, no. Yes, he did. And I found that out watching the Case had a thing on YouTube, like a BET thing. And she was actually talking about that. I'm like, what? She said that she was actually talking to him. And I was like, wow, they was actually in a relationship. Man, that is what's up. So now we got Mary J. Blige and you got Tupac. And anybody that know me, No, I am a die-hard Tupac fan. I
I
tell people
mean,
all the time.
that's me. I was, yeah, Tupac was everything to me. Tupac was number one rapper. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tell people, they be like, somebody told me the other day that we were talking about the Nipsey Hussle star that he got. Shout out to him and his family.
Yes, definitely.
And somebody had said, Nipsey Hussle is way bigger than Tupac and this and that. And I explained to him, I say, you got to remember, um, Tupac and Nipsey Hussle is in two different lanes. Tupac comes from an era. His mother was a Black Panther, number one. Not knocking Nipsey Hussle's mother. I don't know what she actually done. Tupac represent.
She was a spiritualist. Well, she's a spiritualist, but yeah.
You have two different worlds. Tupac, if you say his name, no matter what country you go in, they know who he is.
Yeah.
And when you can say a person's name like Tupac, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Michael Jordan.
I mean, they teach Tupac in colleges. They
Yes.
teach his poetry in colleges.
Yes. And I tell them, if you go back to Dear Mama, when a man that can actually, Tupac actually first earned my respect, and it wasn't Brenda had a baby. The first song that actually earned me respect with Tupac was he has a song that's on one of his albums called If My Homies Call.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
That's probably one of the
Yeah.
that song right there that made me a Tupac fan. Just off of that song right there. From that day forward, and then another song, pop song, the one he says called I'm Sorry. He come on say I had to play catch by myself. And in the video is Vivica A. Fox. She actually is in the video. She plays his mom in the video. And that song is actually really, and as time progresses and you keep your head up and everything that he actually does that come after that, from Pour Out a Little Liquor, man, to one of my favorite, which is always gonna be So Many Tears, man. I tell people So Many Tears is
Yeah.
one of my favorites.
Yeah, nah, that's the one I can remember too. Like that was like my life to me for Mary
Yes.
J. Blige, you know. It was the same vibe.
Yes. Tupac, Mary J. Blige. Who is the other three?
So unfortunately, I'm not gonna say many rappers. I'm gonna tell you, I didn't grow up in a household. My mother, like most black parents, their mother was or their parents were listening to the blues and soul.
Oh man, come on, man. Let's see who you talking about with the blues.
Yeah, but my mom was on like Rod Stewart and
Oh man.
Fleetwood Mac and
Yes.
you know what I'm saying? So I had like a different vibe. Now when I stayed with my grandmother for a little while, she had the soul. So it kind of mixed, but I've just kind of found my own sound. So I will say though, Nina Simone, absolutely.
Yes.
I love her. I think she's amazing. Alanis Morissette.
Mm-hmm.
And let me see one more. Sade.
Man, I was just listening to King. Yeah, I hate to say your love is King. I was just listening to this the other day.
Yes.
She's another one, man. If you listen to her music and listen what she says, sometimes her music always relax me, man. If I just want to have her and Anita Baker,
I take road trips with her on the radio. Like I could just play her whole album straight through. Cause yeah, Sade, I could drive from here to New Orleans with like her essentials on, and yeah.
Okay. Next thing, how can the people find you on social media?
Everything is at the real Toni Hickman. Yeah, at the real Toni Hickman, and besides Twitter, but I don't barely be on Twitter.
I'm like that too. I don't even touch Twitter. People like, well, you don't get on. Like, man, I don't get on Twitter. I say I got it, but I don't use it. I actually enjoyed you, and I am honored that you took the time out to come up here on a rainy day, and that you didn't actually have to come interview with me on my show. And I will bring you back.
I'm ready.
Yes. And you guys, please make sure you go to her YouTube, subscribe to her channel. I'm subscribed to it. You need to subscribe to her channel, man. This is a wonderful woman. She has wonderful content. Ain't no booty shaking. It's not no gun violence. This lady promotes positive stuff, and that's what we need to get back to. Positive. In our eras, we didn't have no YouTube, wasn't no Instagram, wasn't no MySpace. It was just you had to get to people and get your stuff out. You had to work hard for your stuff. Now everything is handed over to people. Until next time, remember, anything is possible. Thank you guys for choosing Chopping Up with Lil Ron. We out. Peace.